Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Project Cars. Today, I'm not racing live. No, I'm just doing commentary. Ooh. Because today, we we got a Formula Renault. This is our Formula Renault, the red one. That was literally the start of the race right there. Yeah. Mixed class Formula cars around Monaco. I punted off immediately start the race, there's chaos. This sets the tone, I will be honest. It's a half-hour endurance race, and trust me, it was endurance towards the end. I did run off after about 7 laps to go get food, so my computer isn't exactly happy about that, which is why there are a few weird lag spikes. So we have various cars. We definitely have Formula Renault because I'm driving one. There's Indy cars, there's various Lotuses, Formula A I definitely saw. I don't know if I saw Formula B. There I am crashing around Mirabeau. I think that's Mirabeau. And coming out in front of a Lotus 78. And into the tunnel. Yeah, this is the first lap. Down over here, the the little runoff at the end of the Nouvelle Chicane has some fun. There does. Believe it or not, during this race, I'm going everywhere. Believe it or not, during this race, after the first couple of laps, because the first couple of laps were reasonable. Most of the race was spent trying to avoid accidents. He says he rams everything. No, most of the race was legitimately trying to avoid massive pile-ups that just happened at random points on track. That was one of the best times I took turn 1 in the entire race, I will be honest. And, yeah, Casino Square's a lot of fun to try and get around. It's a very low speed circuit, so it's not really my strong point. The lights on my wheel lighting up. They are! Huh, interesting. Yeah, this Lowe's, whatever you want to call that hairpin, I call it Lowe's, it's what I've always known it as. I know it's like the Gasworks hairpin now, or something like that. Or Grand Hotel hairpin? I call it Lowe's. It's just Lowe's as far as I'm concerned. Out of the tunnel, down to second gear for Nouvelle Chicane, which is literally French for the new chicane. I don't think there is cars in the runoff quite yet, but it will start collecting cars eventually. And I do quite literally mean collecting. The AI does not know how to get out of the runoff there. And as it turns out, doing multi-class racing on around Monte Carlo is interesting. I'll put it that way. I didn't need to make a pit stop. Well, I did need to make a pit stop, but I didn't. The tyres at the end of this race were absolutely shot. The brakes kept overheating because there just wasn't enough straight to cool the brakes. You can see there, they're still hot. Red hot again because I was braking into the is that Mirabeau? Coming into Casino Square. No, the turn before Casino Square. I think that's what it's called. That one's Mirabeau. Down towards Lowe's. Either the one before or after Lowe's is Mirabeau. I don't know. Or is it turn 1 is Mirabeau? I know Lowe's, Nouvelle Chicane, the swimming pool complex, and Tabac. And of course, actually Anthony knows is the last corner. I know that much as well. And here's where the chaos really starts to begin, because the Formula Fords are so slow around here that... That was me being an idiot. The Formula Fords are so slow, I've realised that I should have actually nudged my brake balance back. I didn't have my usual full Project Hell screen set up, so I didn't actually know what was going on in terms of brakes and temperatures. Yeah, the Formula Fords here, the little Lotuses that you can see, they were a nuisance. because they just managed to get in your way at the most awkward place, and they got in each other's way and caused a crash. I didn't see that. I didn't have my rear view on. I didn't want to see what chaos was happening behind me. So up the hill we go. That is a quite steep hill. There's another Formula Ford, but I managed to get around it going into Casino Square. Around Casino Square and out of Casino Square. Very nicely done. In real life you would actually jink off to the... as you're driving at the right of the circuit there, because there's a rather large bump, but the game doesn't really simulate it all that well. So you can just drive over the bump, no issues there. And here's where the fun begins. You could kind of see a glimpse of it there. Oh no, they all managed to get through unscathed. Or did they? Going through to back. There's a big cluster of cars, and that's a huge pile-up just waiting to happen. Because the Formula 4s and the older Lotuses just weren't quick enough to get out of the way. So here I am, kind of boxed. I rammed a 49, tried to flip it. I think that was a 25. There's a 98T jammed in a wall. And there's an IndyCar in front of me. I think that IndyCar is actually for position. Positions were very easily gained and lost because it's very easy to make a mistake around Monaco. It's very easy for you to end up in a wall somewhere. I intentionally had damage turned to just like aesthetic damage only for this reason. And you can see the front of the car is already looking quite battered. So the IndyCar in front of me, coming into lows, it rams the 49, I rammed the IndyCar, and then rammed the 49 for good measure, just to make sure everybody got a ram there. Got around the 49, through... oh, that was really nice to take in, I must say. This corner is very awkward, because you're like, from lows kind of onwards, you're in first gear. Actually, the corner before lows, you're kind of stuck in first gear. That was me not braking hard enough for the Nouvelle Chicane, ramming a 98T twice, just in case you didn't notice the first time. 3 times, and I pass him, and the 49's having major issues. I don't know what all those puffs of smoke were about. I think it might have been brakes overheating. Like other cars overheating their brakes. The Formula rookies weren't actually a big issue, I will admit. They were a bit everywhere, but they accelerate so slowly that I can do this. The AI might not have been that smart, but very easy to just get past them. And it does look like I know what I'm doing. For the most part through some of these corners. Because I do know Monaco relatively well. The issue is, I'm not that good a driver, and it's a very technical circuit. The worst corner by far is lows, because you're basically coming to a stop at the apex. And then trying to just feather the throttle the rest of the way through. Literally, you're on the throttle just to keep the car rolling. Nouvelle Chicane is nice, because the 100-meter board is what I was using as a braking marker. Let me slow down nice and reliably. Around 72? That's a 72. And coming up behind, you don't want to say a Ford. Nope, that's a Lotus 25. I believe an old Formula 1 car. Another old Formula 1 car. That was just me being a bit aggressive on the throttle. Now I did say that I probably should have hit. I didn't. The tyres at the end of this were absolutely destroyed. I had very little tread left on the tyres. There was very little grip left in the tyres. But I managed to kind of hold my own. Formula 1 car cut the corner to try and pass me. That's cheating. I am slightly mad. That's just plain cheating. What do we have in front of me now? Formula Golf 1000 or Formula 1 car, which rammed each other. Formula 1 car's got DRS open apparently, but that's... Oh, it actually did use DRS down there. Interesting. A 79 had... 78 had spun even, causing some chaos. And I think there's a bit of fun coming out of the Nouvelle Chicane this time around. Yeah, the Lotuses... The old Lotuses caused so many problems. Because the Formula 1 cars didn't know how to overtake them. So I had to take the initiative at times. And bring it 3 wide and do crazy stuff. And no. Although it did sound like the runoff had claimed its first victim by now. There were some occasions during this lap, I'm going to move my mouse cursor out of the way. There were some occasions during this lap, I'm not going to lie, or during this race, where I was literally having to crawl through corners because I could see on the mini-map, because I had the mini-map open when I'm racing, just because the AI isn't too smart. And especially in mixed class with the Formula cars, it's very not smart. I had the AI, the mini-map open just to see where the accidents were and how I could avoid them. That proved to be a very good decision because there were some occasions where, and you'll see it later on in the race, where I'm going what appears to be ridiculously slowly through some corners. It's usually because there's a big crash on the other side. Sometimes it's because there's Lotus 49 in the way and I just want to ram it. I mean, the older Lotuses just... Lotuses? Lotai. The older cars just couldn't stand up. They could not stand up to the onslaught of my powerful, magnificent Formula Renault 3.5 litre engine, and that was me running into the barrier. It almost feels like this is a different race than I'm watching, because I haven't seen any of the big crashes and collisions that I do know happen, and I didn't know that. There's tire debris in project cars? Because I saw some marbles coming off the car a minute ago. That's something I didn't know about. Down the main straight, which isn't straight, if you didn't notice. That's a second gear corner there. I'm just going to tell you what gear the corner's at. Second gear, you want to roll through it a lot slower than you think is right, but it works out. Up to Casino Square, that's a third gear corner, and you're kind of just feathering the throttle down into second for this one. You'll be making it up to about fourth gear here, third or fourth, down to second or first, depending on your preferences. I usually chose second, and down here you're definitely in first if you want any drive off the corner. These two corners, you're kind of in between first and second. If you want drive off the corner, you go for first. If you want a bit more stability, you go for second. Through the tunnel, you're making up to fifth or sixth gear in the Formula Renault, depending on your look. There's a car in the runoff. Down to second for the Nouvelle Chicane. I was a bit too quick. Coming up now to the back along this little straight, you make it up to fourth gear, but you blip it down to third. I'm kind of trying to hold it in third, grab fourth coming through the swimming pool chicane here. That wasn't the swimming pool chicane, this one is, and this is a second gear chicane I kind of worked out. You make it up to fourth again here, and then down to second or first. Through Anthony Knowles now, the final corner, and that's almost definitely first gear, just for drive off the corner. Down the main straight again for a lap of Monaco. And you can see the AI, as well as myself, because I don't race Monaco that often. We all have a technical knowledge of the track. Now, I've got a technical knowledge of Monaco. I know the track layout. Executing that knowledge was maybe not the greatest. I mean, Lowe's just ends up being an absolute disaster no matter what I tried. And yeah, that happened a few times as well, just spinning out of the turn for the tunnel. Ah, yes. The runoff has claimed its second victim, and as you can see, there is a rather large accident, so I decided the greatest idea ever was to just ram up against the wall and grind my way through it, which I think the guy that was ahead of me was actually in that accident. This is all AI, this is all versus AI. The guy that was ahead of me was in that accident, so I gained at least one position there, possibly 2 or 3. And what I also gained was a lot of clear air in front of me. Because, you know, there was a big cluster on the track. Now, my aim was to try and make the most of the free air, obviously. Yeah, there's space in front of me, I'm going to start pushing. So I started pushing and going as fast as I could around the corners. And whether some other cars managed to get through unscathed, I don't know. But there, up ahead of me, is a Lotus 98T Renault. Now that has a turbo engine. That actually has more acceleration than me. It's behind what appears to be a Formula Rookie or a Formula Ford. Formula Rookie. And because they're beside each other, I can't do a damn thing, so I'm stuck. Yeah, the Rookie decided, haha, let's get the Formula Renault. So, that was fun. It looked like the runoff has claimed the third victim. Yes, there are in fact at least 3 cars in the runoff area there. For some reason the AI can't figure a way out of it. So once they go in there, they're kind of stuck and they'll just start ramming it until the engine blows. There's a Formula 1000 ahead of me, but it's stopped for some reason. Oh, there's a big crash. That's the car ahead of me on track. That yellow Formula 1 car is for position, so we take it 3 wide around the Formula Rookie. 2 wide almost around... Oh, I crashed. No, that was really stupid. And what's worse, I lost a position as well because that yellow Formula 1 car passed me. Oh, I lost 2 because of the Indy car. I won't say where I finished until the end of the race, but this was a really fun race. Challenging as all hell, I will admit. About 7 laps in, I did go for literally a couple of hours and had some food and tea and all that kind of stuff. So there will be a period around lap 7, which we may already be through, where suddenly my driving standards decrease. That's me coming back, being a small bit, just having a small bit of rust, small bit of slowness from the food, not having my eye in immediately, and making some silly mistakes. So there's at least 2 cars in the runoff, just going forwards and backwards, destroying themselves. I seem to be the only one who can get the little kink at the first swing push came right, and yeah, that was me being an idiot there. Grab reverse, grind against the wall, cover the car out, I think. First gear, find the nearest Formula Ford, ram it, and around the last corner. As the Formula Ford decides, you know what, the corner is too mainstream for me, I'm going to be a hipster, and rams the wall for no reason. First corner, and I hit the wall. Let's see what happens up in Casino Square. I've got a feeling I know what happens. Was this one of the times that I decided to try and go too quickly? No! How about out of this second gear corner? Oh no, I actually nailed it that time. There's the big bump at the zebra crossing, or pedestrian crossing, whatever you want to call it. That's a huge bump. And you want to avoid that at all costs in reality. Stuck ahead of Lotus 49, but not for long because I out-accelerated. Neither was at the wall there. There was a small bump of wheels, but I would call that rubbing his racing incident. That, however, was me ramming a wall. It looks like there's 3 cars now in the runoff. I knew I wasn't going to make the change there, so I just abandoned it. Like you would in reality, so I'm not cheating. Big crash ahead of me, so I just rammed straight into both of them. Driving another car into the wall, I forgot that. Oh dear. So behind the 78, which is not as good under acceleration as us, so we just hit up to the other side of the track. And is that a Formula 4 by any chance, really? That's a Formula 1000. A Formula 4? Nope, it's a 49. But it's just wide enough that I don't feel comfortable overtaking it, so I just go around it. Around the outside, around Casino Square. Like one empty box. By the way, I like to project cars, which I'm not too surprised. I'll put it that way. Not in a negative way towards him. I know the kind of games he enjoys, and Project Cars is most definitely not one of them. For wondering who to box is, he's one of the biggest iRacing YouTubers there is. He just doesn't like the SMS way of doing things, which is completely fair enough. I mean, I get irritated sometimes as well. Yeah, that Lotus caused me issues. The engine actually died there as well. That's an Indy car. What the hell? That's the Lotus Indy car. That thing must have been in first gear the entire way around the circuit. So you can hear some crashing and banging because there's a big crash ahead of me. It's cleared itself up because they just rammed nose to tail. And this is quite honestly one of my favourite moves of all time. I overtake 2 cars around the outside here. Come up and I slow down behind this group. A Lotus decides I like walls. I'm coming up the hill now. I think I do overtake another car too on this lap. Either that or I spin out. Oh yes, I overtake the Formula 1 car around the outside in Casino Square, but I cause a big accident. Luckily that Lotus 49C or D, I think it's a D. I can't remember the exact model numbers, okay? That rammed me right into position again, and I just had to start up the engine. Formula 3? Yes, Formula C car there, with a Lotus 98T on the inside, and a 49C or D, whichever one it is, in front of that. Lotus overtakes the Lotus, I overtake the Lotus in kind, and now, I'm quicker in acceleration, I believe, than the 98T, or I've got higher cornering speeds, one of the two, because I'm most definitely faster on a single, on most laps than the 98T, and I can't remember where I get the advantage, but it might well just be braking, literally just braking or kind of even everywhere else. So this is, by the way, a 30-minute race, small accident, nothing to be worried about too much. And this mess. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 positions I made up on the main straight, and I immediately lose them all. And watch the Formula 4 go by. That Formula 1 car just stopped on the outside of me. That was so rude of him. Here's where I had one of my very few smart moments. I decided to go down here where there's more room to flick turn, and got in the way of literally everybody, including that one Indy car again. Luckily it's just a Formula 1000 ahead of me, which I needlessly ram. That's my way of saying hello to cars. It's like, hello, I'm behind you, leave me past. Yeah, ram, and then I just, if they don't leave me past immediately, I will just door them straight into the wall, because it's rude. It's a Lotus 78 in front of me, and you can see that I'm kind of getting to grips with lows now at this point in the race. Although I think I am at the point now where the tyres were starting to go. I want to say, I'm just going to bring up the... Yeah, the tyres are most definitely starting to go with 5 minutes remaining. You can see that that one was all me. I upset the car and that didn't work out well. I decided to go underneath the 78 there. Well, literally. There's no pun there. I literally went underneath it. Formula 1000 wasn't much of a match. This Formula Ford, as always, is in the wrong place. So I just blast by it there. I'm behind a 98T and a 72. Can't get past the 72 before the last corner, so I'll just get it on the main straight. And... oh, it's not 98T, that's a 49D. So I go around the outside, around the inside, and the 49 takes out the 72. None of this was prearranged. I actually thought I was going to do just Formula Renaults. I didn't realise until I hopped into the race that it was multiclass. Now I did actually qualify for, I think it was 5th position. Because if I started anywhere down the grid, I ended up getting caught in a massive collision turn 1 and... not even turn 1, negative turn like 3. Because further down the grid you start closer to the exit of the swimming pool chicane, the second swimming pool chicane. That's not good. It just ends up with a massive crash and I ended up getting stuck for literally 5 minutes. So I had to qualify, I had to... I was going to put myself on pole, but then I realised no, that's just cheating. If I qualify, at least I'll be where I deserve to start. This Formula C car was just constantly in my way. I was lapping this guy. I mean, in reality, this guy would now be black flagged for ignoring blue flags. He deserved to get rammed into the wall there. He really did. So just roll the car backwards a bit and spin turn through the IndyCar because that's a thing for some reason. Just ignore the Formula Ford that's there. I think the IndyCar went past me and into the pits. Can I see the IndyCar in the pits? I think that was in the pits there. So the tyres are well and truly gone at this stage, being quite frank. I mean, there's no tyres left on this thing. It's a miracle I'm able to keep it going at all. The brakes damn near blew up about half the laps that I was in. I kept getting messages over the radio that I didn't know was a thing. The crew kept telling me your brakes are overheating, cool it down in the slow corners. You know, roll the car into slow corners, brake less. I didn't know that was a thing. I didn't know that the radio and project cars had that kind of stuff on it. That I liked, I will admit. So I think we're coming up to one of the final laps as that was with DRS open in the tunnel. That wasn't just me flat out losing it halfway through the tunnel. That was DRS. That was me being an idiot. So coming up through to back now again. Third gear. And that, to back is really easy to get right. This chicane, also easy to get right. This chicane is the bane of my existence in Formula 1 games. Yeah, I get it right here. I'm not quite sure how though. Yeah, that was one of the banes of my existence. It kind of looked like I actually hit a chunk of ground as opposed to what I thought was happening. I thought that I was hitting the rear wheel off the inside wall, but the crack in the ground suggests that no, the game was glitching slightly and decided that I had clipped into the ground very briefly. That kind of wouldn't surprise me, being honest. Coming through Casino Square again, potentially for the final time. Maybe. Yes, in fact. Yes, this is the final time through Casino Square. Because I believe I had a minor incident on this lap. Comically, I actually crossed the finish line before the winner. Project Cars doesn't do 30 minutes plus one lap. It's once it hits 30 minutes, the checkered flag is out and you're done. Qualifying style. Also, that was an amazing jump. Lotus 49 going the wrong way up the track there because it had spun somehow. The runoff of Doom has claimed all of its victims by now, I think. I screw up to back. After saying on the previous lap it was so easy, but now for the last lap of the race, the tyres are completely gone. There's my screw up where I just spin the car out and decide to spin turn it. Went well. And yeah, last couple of corners, no major issues, just some minor ones. I get told now it's the end of the race, last lap, blah blah blah, and across the line to end. And the replays decided to start again. So, can I see the final standings at all? No! No, I cannot. Is it in this replay theater kind of thing? No. Okay. So, 30 minutes 23 seconds for that race. That was 5,300 kilometers around the Nürburgring, by the way. That was a really fun race. I didn't win, I came like 5th. However, that was really, really enjoyable. Just so much fun. In any case, race is over. So I'm going to say thank you all very much for watching. I will see you next time. Until then, stay safe. And never ever do multi-class Formula racing around Monaco. Stay safe and goodbye.